Perfectionism is a constant drive to be flawless, to be perfect, to not make mistakes and have it exactly how you would think it would be. Setting these high standards for ourselves, for a lot of people, it's very good motivation. But for the majority of us, I feel it often leads to stress, overthinking, and just the fear of making mistakes. In today's video, I'm breaking down 5 reasons on how holding on to perfectionism can ruin your life and what I do to overcome them. The last one might really surprise you. Procrastination. As a perfectionist, a lot of the times we'll often start by delaying tasks, waiting for that perfect time or that perfect moment to get that task done. This results in missed deadlines, unfinished projects, and a big mountain of stress that just starts to pile up. Now, one of the best ways I find to overcome this is, instead of focusing on that huge task that you have at hand, focus on the manageable steps and the progress towards completing that task. Completing one step of the process at a time provides a lot more of an accomplished feeling than just solely focusing on the big daunting task that you have at hand. Break down your big tasks into smaller manageable steps to help create momentum to getting that task done. For example, instead of the task of making an entire video, start by just planning the video and focus on getting that done. And then that will transition into momentum to completing the task that you need to do to complete the goal that you want to achieve. And then having clear, realistic deadlines to complete your task and breaking it down into smaller pieces, right? So instead of being like, I have to do all these things today, maybe focus on 2 or 3 things that you can get done today to move you to that end goal, right? So time blocking techniques, to-do lists, calendars, all these are tools that will help you overcome that procrastination and just focus on the steps at hand. Burnout. The pursuit of setting these kind of unrealistic standards and tasks to achieve the goals that we have for the day often leads us to overworking at the expense of our self-care. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, reduced productivity, and potential health problems. To overcome burnout, there's a few different ways that you can do it. Number 1 is prioritizing your self-care. Getting outside, riding your bike, going for a walk, enjoying the sunshine. Those are ways that I prioritize my self-care and things that I enjoy to help avoid burnout. So scheduling your regular breaks, scheduling things that actually matter to you, scheduling having fun, scheduling enjoying your life, just prioritizing that exercise and that time for yourself is going to be really important. You have to treat taking care of yourself as a non-negotiable for your life, not when you have time for it, not when there's not work to do. But you have to prioritize it every single day, and that's going to help you achieve more and be more productive. Set those clear boundaries and know when to say no to protect your time and your energy. And again, prioritize your self-care and prioritize what makes you happy every single day, and that will help you avoid burnout. Fear of failure. As a perfectionist, we often see failure as something that can be catastrophic and detrimental, right? It's something that we absolutely want to avoid. Being afraid of failure often leads us to avoiding challenges and opportunities that can really help us grow. Overcoming the fear of failure is something that I definitely struggle with. A few things that I do though is to take smaller, calculated risks. Start with the smaller challenges that feel slightly outside your comfort zone to help build confidence and momentum. And then gradually increase that difficulty as you learn to manage fear and recognize that failure is ultimately a part of the process. The idea here is to reframe failure as a learning and growing opportunity. Anything that's ever been achieved on a grand scale has required many, many failures. So seeing failure as something that's good and beneficial for you is going to really help you learn and grow and become better, stronger, and more confident. And again, you have to celebrate the effort that you put in. Focus on the progress rather than the achievement. Because failure is part of the process, let's celebrate those failures and celebrate those learning opportunities just as much as we celebrate our wins. The idea here is to focus on growth rather than perfection. Analysis paralysis. This is the idea that overthinking decisions and fearing the small mistakes that will lead to failure, ultimately leading to not making a decision at all. So it's that process of constantly overthinking, which I'm very guilty for. And sometimes we overthink so much that we end up not taking any action. This can ultimately really delay your progress and have you miss out on opportunities. Now, 2 ways that you can overcome analysis paralysis is number one, by again focusing on the progress, not the perfection. Accepting that no decision will ever be perfect, and prioritize making decisions over waiting for the ideal situation. And reminding yourself that most decisions can be adjusted or corrected later on. So that will reduce the fear of making the wrong decision. And the biggest thing is set time limits to make the decision. Instead of giving yourself unlimited amounts of time, set a timer and say, okay, I need to figure this out within 10 minutes. And 10 minutes, whatever decision I make, that's the decision I need to stick to. Having a deadline prevents you from overthinking and forces you to act, allowing you to make progress forward. The inability to enjoy achievements. As perfectionists, we tend to focus more on flaws or how things could have been better once we're finished a project instead of enjoying our accomplishment. That constant self-criticism can take away from our joy and fulfillment when we achieve specific goals. A few ways that I overcome this are number one, by setting realistic goals and celebrating those small milestones. So just like I said before, how we need to celebrate our failures and what we learn, we also need to celebrate the small wins that we have along the way. Breaking down larger goals into smaller, more concise milestones will help us get momentum, maintain more positive emotions towards what we're trying to achieve. Big one for me here is taking time every single day to appreciate what I have in my life and the things that I'm grateful for. And do your absolute best to avoid setting ambitious or perfectionist goals and just focus on making progress towards that. As an artist, like, things aren't always going to turn out the exact way you had envisioned in your mind. So focusing on making progress and then moving on to the next step and the next step and the next step, celebrate the progress that you made and less about how it turned out.
If perfectionism is something that you struggle with, remember progress is better than perfection. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more insights, and share this with anybody who you feel needs to hear it. See you in the next video. Later.